don't know if I learned to drive from them or they learned from me. Anyway, it's not often that I have speech, so you can tell that I did write it. I don't know who wrote it, and it might be plagiarized for all I care. I'm not taking responsibility for it, like some of my fellow competitors. I heard the Pope visited America, but the press kept quiet about it. He allegedly asked the chauffeur of the limousine that met him if he could drive the car. Of course, the limousine driver said no. But the Pope said it has been his childhood dream to drive a limo, and who can say no to the Pope? So the chauffeur gives in, and the Pope takes the wheel. He was having so much fun that he drove the car as fast as he could on the freeway. Eventually, he got pulled over by the cops for speeding, and he was asked to roll down his window. The policeman seemed a little bit surprised and goes back to his motorcycle to radio the chief. Chief, I have a problem. What is it? I pulled over someone for speeding, but I think it's a very important person. Well, is it the mayor? No, he's way more important than that. Well, is it the governor? No, he's even more important than that. Well, is it the president? No, I think he's even more important than that. Well, who could be more important than the president? I don't know, but he has the Pope driving for him. So, first of all, congratulations to all the Lopez Achievement Awards this year. I've heard some amazing stories today about how you guys have gone over and above the call of duty to deliver truly extraordinary results. The Lopez Group has gone through some very significant leadership changes in the past few years. We've had senior family members who have retired. OML, and yes, me, when you hit 60, you are officially a senior family member. We also have long-time professional CEOs that have retired. It says here in Illinois, but does your wife know you've retired? No. So it must be a typo. Angel from Lopez Holdings, and of course, Freddie from ABS-CBN. Great companies survive these major leadership changes and often progress to even larger successes. But that's not just the result of luck. Great companies have leaders who put in a lot of work to ensure that they have built not just business organizations, but also steadfast institutions. At the Lopez Group, we built our company so that our ability to serve the public lasts for generations. I think there are three foundations for corporate longevity. The first is culture and values. The second is recruitment and talent development. The third is a clear and shared sense of purpose. Let me start with culture and values. The simplest definition of culture is, how do people behave when their bosses are not around? It is people knowing what the right thing to do in any situation, even if it's not in the manual. It is knowing which behaviors are accepted and rewarded in the organization and which behaviors get you booted out. All these actions are guided by a clear set of well-defined values. These values go beyond the slogans that get pasted on bulletin boards or corporate websites. They are the values that leaders exhibit in their actions and decisions. They are the values that employees see when companies go through major difficulties. They are the values that are tried and tested because they will stand the test of time and adversity. Values and culture are consistent. They are lived out in our day-to-day actions. These Lopez Achievement Awards are a recognition of the culture and values that matter to the Lopez Group. They tell the rest of the group which behaviors and actions matter. They reinforce the Lopez culture and the Lopez values. At ABS-CBN, we are guided by a focus on the customer, by excellence in our work, and by a strong sense of integrity. We see this in action whether we are talking about hitting our ratings targets, delivering our news, or extending assistance in times of national calamity. Yes, I think it's a unique culture born out of a long history of extraordinary success and brutal challenges. But many, many years from now, I know that ABS will continue to be guided by the same values. our culture may evolve, but I also know that it will, by far and large, still be uniquely ABS Pamilya. The second foundation for corporate longevity is recruitment and talent development. Ultimately, companies are about people, and you can only be as good as the people you have. We do spend a lot of time defining the technical skills we need. After all, ABS, to be a world-class content company, must have the best creative and production talent. But we're also starting to think about culture fit. Are the personal values and goals of the people we hire aligned with those of the organization? Will the organization accept them because they fit well within our culture? Or will they be rejected because of a difference in values? For the best talent to thrive, it must be able to operate within our environment. We are also spending more time thinking about talent development and succession. What is the future career position for each of our best performers? How do we prepare them for these roles? How do we ensure that we are preparing the next generation of leaders for the new challenges they will face? Imagine our organization as a living organism with multiple layers. Each layer continues growing until the day when the topmost layer falls away and a new layer is waiting to replace it. Our goal is for each layer of the company to get collectively stronger and more competent. As we prepare each layer for the day when it needs to step up and fill in the shoes of a leadership that moves higher or moves on. But the most important foundation of all is to have a shared sense of purpose. This new generation will see a rate of change that we have never seen before. Global economies, instant access to information, technological revolutions, all conspire to make this era a fast-changing one. The only way for an organization to navigate through these colossal developments without losing its identity is for it to have a very clear sense of purpose. At ABS, as with the rest of the Lopez Group, that purpose is public service. We have always maintained that profits are not the end goal of our companies. Profits are necessary to exist and grow, but they are not the reason for our being. If we serve our customers by giving them what they need, the profits will follow. Do what is right for the customer, and what is right for the company will follow. 3 generations of the Lopez family have declared that we exist to serve the Filipino people. And I know that many more after me will continue to make the same commitment, or I will hunt them from my grave. So now I'm going to depart from my speech and talk a little bit about public service. And I want to quote from a speech made by this guy named Nipun Mehta. I don't know if some of you have heard it. It's been in the website. And he talks about public service, or giving and receiving, or paying it forward, which is really what we're doing when we're doing public service. I remember many years ago, my father always used to tell me, you can never give away kindness. And I always used to think, what does that mean? And I think I only really began to realize what it meant when he passed away, and I started to try to emulate what he did. And lo and behold, it comes back in so many ways. And so, there are 2 things I want to say about that. The first, let me read this pay it forward. And this guy had a friend who thought that it's not enough to have, to have so much, but to give some of it back. And so this is what this fellow did. In his daily life, he started cultivating some beautiful practices of generosity. For instance, every time he walked into a fancy restaurant, he told the waiter, find the couple that is most madly in love. Put their tab on my bill and tell them that the stranger paid for their meal, with the hope that they pay it forward somewhere, somehow. he would say. And being a fan of Batman, he took his anonymity seriously. If anyone finds out it was me, the deal is off. So many restaurants and waiters knew him for this. And as a food connoisseur, some of his favorite places were also quite pricey, upwards of a couple of $100 per person. On one such day, he walks into a nice restaurant and does his usual drill. The person serving him obliges. However, this time, the waiter came back with a counter request. Sir, I know you like to be anonymous, but I told the couple about the tap being covered, and the woman just started sobbing. In fact, it's been 10 minutes and she's still tearing up. I think it would make her feel better if you were to just introduce yourself just this one time. So seeing this, he broke his own cardinal rule, walked over, and introduced himself. Ma'am, I was only trying to make your day. If it has brought up something, I am so sorry. The woman excitedly said, oh no, not at all. You've just made my year, maybe my life. My husband and I, well, we work at a small non-profit with physically challenged kids. And we have been saving all year to have this meal. It is our 1-year marriage anniversary today. After a pause, she continues. We always serve others in small ways, but to receive a kind act like this on our special day is just an overwhelming testimonial that what goes around comes around. It renews our faith in humanity. Thank you so much. So all of them were in tears, and they kept in touch, and he joined their board, and they are friends to today. So I think it was just an important example of the fact that when you give, it comes back. And it creates a positive culture. Your biochemistry changes. You'll probably live longer if you do this. And which leads to my second point about a book I'm reading called Obliquity. And it talks about how the people that are the wealthiest people in the world, the people that are the most successful companies, they don't start out to do that. It is, in fact, profits is just a byproduct of having some other goal. If you look at Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, and Bill Gates is the wealthiest man in the world, they didn't set out to be the most wealthiest man. Or if you look at the companies that have done well around the world, I mean, if it came to making money, the investment banks all set out making money as their primary objective. And where are they now? So I think for us it's important that we have a purpose, and that purpose has to be larger than life. So that hopefully, one day when you all retire like me, what is it that you're going to tell your kids? Are you telling them, the company I worked in made billions of dollars? Or that you built this energy plant? Or that you had this show that rated 40 rating points? Hopefully you'll tell them that one day you worked in a company that cared about people and had a larger purpose in life and was part of making the Philippines a better place to live in. Thank you.